Okay, now that we crossed off Joseph Smith and his family, let's use again our Cam Studio recorder to look at some other Mormon pioneers of the early church. And now let's look at one person from the three witnesses, from the testimony of three witnesses, who was Oliver Cowdery, who was supposedly a guy that argued with Smith and later become the first heretic of this newfound church. But this was just one of his altars, because Oliver Cowdery was the same person as Jedediah Grant, who was later a church president, one of the very early church presidents, and both these men are the same. And not only are they the same and have the same face and ear and hair and everything, but also they are one of this guy here is the grandson of George Washington, well, the biggest Freemason of his age. And like George Washington alone had so many altars, you would not believe who he was. He was so many different people, but you can see most of them on my blog. And he was also, if you look at Clint Eastwood, this guy must be a direct descendant of him. I mean, there's so many amazing similarities. And here we can see Oliver Cowdery and Jedediah Grant. Same mouth, same rift, same nose, same eyes and lid. The same hair roots here, same hairstyle, exactly everything. And this is the same guy, and also wearing the same kind of bow tie. And this is really easy to do actually. Here we have the grandfather and the grandson. It's this is a nice gap here of 60 years. Like 30 years is a perfect gap, because these people are making no like when it comes to family and like the seed line, the royal seed line, they don't mess around. They make sure that the children are happy, that they have a safe place to grow up in, so that their whole thing can continue, their whole power can continue. And we see the same chin here, same mouth. So this is obviously a grandson of George Washington, and about whom I could make another video, but this is too much material right now. The best thing is if you are checking out my blog, markusleb.blogspot.com, um, and try to work yourself into the whole material to see how this whole thing works basically. Here we can see the ears, hairline, and hairstyle the same. You do not need very high resolution pictures. Sometimes it's enough to have like 150 pixel. If the pictures are good pictures, you can get amazing detail out of very low res pictures. But of course you can also work with high resolution. That's not a problem. Most on my blog, on most pictures I have used some red color and some highlighter so that you can faster get in the information, because if I don't do this here, it takes you a bunch of seconds until you find the birth dates. But like this you can check it so quickly. 1806, 1816, okay, 10-year gap. That's all within the realm of the possible. Same person. And often what I started doing is I always like things that are easy and simple and quick and that get everything across. And so I started doing text documents where I can gather data so that you have it all on one line. And so this here right now is a bloodline here from Washington to Cowdery and then to Eastwood. And that was that folder. So that was Oliver Cowdery. And now let's look at one of the 8 witnesses. We all know the story. There was a testimony of 3 witnesses to the Book of Mormon, and then a testimony of 8 witnesses. And I am pretty sure that both these witnesses and this bunch of witnesses are actually some sort of tale from some old book that I probably haven't read, but these people are reading all the old literature from ancient Greece, like Homer, and all of these tales. Because these tales are like the Bible of the pagans. Like we read the Bible from Genesis, Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, Isaiah, blah blah blah, etc. But all of these pagan religions, they also had holy books, and because the people who are doing this or are running the world are basically pagans. They do not believe in the same God as we do. All these stories are very important to them, and so they constantly are recreating and retelling these stories in a modern framework. That's why you have all these things like the three witnesses and the eight witnesses and the golden plates and what do I know. Um, this all goes back very far and it all has meaning. So here we can see right now these eight witnesses right here, how they're standing and receiving the plates and saying, all right, we all testify these plates are true. And Joseph Smith found them right here. And all of these men are Jewish, and they are basically just putting out another whopper for the world to swallow, and seeing who will swallow it and who will not swallow it. Here we have another story of the eight witnesses, another picture. I know actually, I lived in Utah with a man who actually has a replica of this golden plates here, standing right on his living room desk, living room table. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so Samuel H. Smith was Maximilian Heine, one of the brothers of Heinrich Heine, who played Joseph Smith. This here is my Facebook picture. If you see me on Facebook, my name is Mark Butzer or Markus Butzer, Butzer. You can add me as a friend or probably tell me how stupid my blog is and how wrong I am, etc., etc. I've heard it all a million times and it does not affect my judgment in the least. Here we have again a picture with a signature. Signatures can be very important. When you're on the corner about a person, it's the same. Is he the same? Is he not the same? Look at the wife. Look at the ear. Look at the signature. Then you will figure it out. In most cases. Okay, that was these two guys, and now let's take in Brigham Young here into this self-same video. Let me see, something's missing here. Okay, let's first now go to Brigham Young very quickly, and I'll tell you that Brigham Young, he played so many different people that you have no idea that it's the same guy. But when you look at a family photo of Brigham Young with all his brothers, look at that photo very carefully, because all these brothers are all very heavy calibers and they played so many different people, like inventors, musicians, composers, all sorts of people, poets, writers, drama writers. There is no end. I mean, there's so many. Like here, he was also this guy. So Brigham Young, born around the brink of the 19th century, and here this guy was a lawyer. Utah Territorial Chief Justice John F. Kinney, same guy as Brigham Young, and they often play seemingly completely opposing characters, and so it's even easier to hide who they really are. And here again the polygamy, which was only made up. Like these people did not have like hundreds of wives. They are very they like to have affairs, but they are also very dedicated family people. And they have to be, because only then can you be powerful. A powerful man is only good with a faithful and powerful wife by his side, and that's why these people are so successful. And here we have, in the beginning of 19th century, they had this sort of photograph. It was low detail, black and white, and only towards the end of the 19th century they had, for everyone, affordable and high quality photographs. But this is an actual photograph of Brigham Young, and with his cane here and his cylinder. And I've said it already, and I'm gonna say it again, the wives, the polygamistic wives, are not real. They are just made up and probably played by only a handful of girls. Okay, here we have one more with some more data. You can all check this, double check it on Wikipedia or whatever you want. And here again we have the nose, same mouth, same rift, same carve here, the same crease. Also here something like this here in the eye. You always have to look for the details. When you have typical details, and then you have something that's very reliable. Like this is the same nose, we can see it, and it's the same eye, and that's the same man. Brigham Young and the lawyer, the judge. And now this here is bloodline. Like this must be the grandson here. This must be the grandson. So there were two John F. Kinneys. There were I don't know if I mixed them up now, but let me see. No, this is the same person. Brigham Young is the same person as John F. Kinney, and then this other Kinney guy, like this here. This is must be the grandson here. Okay. And Brigham Young, I mean, you'll see later, he was so many different men. Here again you have all the stories. And because all, just like today with Reuters distributing their info to all the press outlets in the entire world, so all the newspapers are under the spell of the lodge. You know the pyramid with the eye in it? Like this stuff trickles from top to bottom. Like everything that you read, it doesn't matter if it's the Salt Lake Tribune or the Daily Herald or the German Bild-Zeitung or the French Figaro or the London Sun. It's all the same concept, and these big media outlets are all owned by Masonry. So that's why you can only read the stories from their perspective. And okay, that was folder number 1 for Brigham Young. Let's go to folder number 2. Like Brigham Young was so many different people. Like, would you believe that Brigham Young is the same man as this German Kaiser right here? It's crazy, but it's really crazy. I outed all the German Kaisers by now, and like all the royals in history, they always had altars as different people, religious persona, artists, etc., etc. Like this is the same person here. So, and they all speak 4, 5, 6 languages with ease. It's totally normal. They have the best teachers, and they have great leisure to learn these languages. That's not a problem. So Frederick III, the late German Kaiser, there was another Frederick III who lived in Luther's day, like Martin Luther, who also was a Hohenzollern royal. So he was not just a reformer born in some shabby town. So he was a royal from Hohenzollern blood. And all these bloodlines that you hear about, like Hohenzollern and Plantagenet and York and Saxe-Coburg-Gotha and whatever the names are meaningless, because these people, they go from country to country and they play several royals all at the same time, just using different language and different dress. But the funny thing is, when you look at these people on Wikipedia or an encyclopedia, they look so similar. I mean, a child can see that they are the same person, but we grown-ups, we can't see it. That's really crazy. But so this here was the other Frederick III, the old one, who also had an altar as a Medici from Italy and many other altars. And so this we've seen the same ear here, Brigham Young and Frederick III. And then he also was played the Bavarian king. So when they are very old and not so good at him anymore at their acting, mostly they go to some rural area like Bavaria, or they play some royal of a lesser rank where they can retire in comfort without being constantly asked questions by reporters. Because the people in rural areas or less powerful countries, they are more gullible and trustworthy than, let's say, in powerful countries. And that's the reason why that is working so well. And here you can see the ear is the same because it's the same person. So Ludwig the First of Bavaria is Frederick III, and this must be Brigham Young in his old age. And here you have his brother, Albert Pike, alias Johannes Brahms, the composer. Also, you can see the same ear but different face. Like this guy here had a much larger face, like a more round face, and also had a more mean look to him. Um, let's take the third batch of pictures here. I do think here this is one of the brothers of Brigham Young, called Lorenzo Young, who had like a more round shape, and this is Albert Pike, the Freemason, and Johannes Brahms, the composer, who were identical, and they also must be identical with this guy here, Lorenzo Young. And you can see he had a really mean face. So this guy had a really animalistic side to him. He was these people all have different characters. Some of them are rather holy, some of them are very productive, some of them are very outgoing, and some of them are just like kind of really nasty. This guy, he was a real probably a real nasty man. You can see a very large jaw, the same corner of the mouth here, nose, eyes, ear. I say that's the same guy. Here Johannes Brahms and Lorenzo Young. And then you have the communist connection for Russia. So all these people, while they were preaching one thing in the Western world, they went to Russia, putting on a different hat, putting on a different beard, and putting on a different cloak or coat, and preaching communism. That's what they did. And Brigham Young's alter as a communist was Friedrich Engels. These people are the same person, and if your teacher in school tells you they're not the same person, it's probably because he's getting paid to say that. And if he does not say it, he's gonna get fired and has to find a new job. And he's too lazy to find a new job, so he keeps telling you that they are different people, which is a lie, plain and simple. And so these guys are all the same. One a communist, the other a prophet of the Mormon Church, and the next a lawyer. Liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Here Young and Engels, same eye. And all these pictures are taken from my blog, you can all see them there. I have a search bar in the upper left corner. I'm gonna say the address again, markusleib.blogspot.com. And all of these pictures you can find there. You can show them to your friends and then you can argue about it, whether I'm right or not. You can see here the eye here. See here the eyes. That's the same here. And the same brow as well. See here how it gets more dark towards the inside. It's because that's a shadow falling. And here also you have the same bridge here across the nose. This is the same person, Friedrich Engels and Brigham Young. And you have as well the signature is also identical here. Same signature, exactly same signature. Same signature. And I've said that already. Here you have again Lorenzo Young and Johannes Brahms. Same person, same chin, double chin, large jaw, same evil eyes. And here we can see a very far stretch from the age, but it's just 20 years, it's not too much. 20 years give or take is not a problem for these people. Really, it's not. They're very mature. Even in their teenage years they start acting, or even earlier, far earlier, and they act until they die basically. Their whole life is an act. And they believe stuff that's really far out. Same ear again, we've seen it now so often. And that's the same guy. Young and Engels. Communist, LDS prophet. And that was the second video.